everyone. Welcome to part 2 with questions with the Queen NXT Great American Bash. If you're here, I'm glad you're here, and if you're not, you're missing out. So with that being said, I want to give credit where credit is due. Again, my husband, who happens to be the camera guy as well as the question guy, give it up for him because I know this is a lot of work. Plus, he does other stuff behind the scenes. Like I did for my first reaction video, I'm going to pretty much be answering some questions that are asked by my husband. I'm going to give you the reaction of the time of the match that happened. I was excited about the majority of them. Some I was kind of, riding the fence. Either way, with that being said, let's go ahead and roll into the questions. Let's get it started.
So in yesterday's episode, we went over the first night of Great American Bash, going all the way up to the last match with Io and Sasha Banks.
Mm-hmm.
We now move into week 2, which was the one that debuted this past Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Opened with a fantastic match. You mentioned your love of Mia Yim in yesterday's episode, going up against Candice LeRae in a street fight. Street fight being kind of a relative term because basically it was just, let's fight around the arena type of match. But you had some tables and some chairs and fire extinguishers and a lot of wasted food from the buffet table, which I know broke your heart. Ultimately, a bit of a cheap shot and a nice neck breaker from a top rope gets Candice LeRae the win over Mia Yim. And then, seemingly during the commercial, Mia kind of getting a little curtain call from, the NXT universe, despite the fact that she lost. Your thoughts on the match. I got a feeling that I don't think you think the right person went over, but most of the time in NXT, the person who loses typically goes out on their sword. Is it time for Mia to make the plunge onto her next job, whether it's Raw or SmackDown?
Okay, first of all, street fight to me means fighting dirty, fighting gritty, fighting any way you can to get that win. And when I say, I like both women, I like Candice, but I'm going to sit here and tell you, I love Mia. And the fact is, Candice, she's a complete badass. I like her heel turn. I like everything about her heel turn because honestly, I feel like she stated, she was helping all the other women in NXT except for herself. So to see her be able to do a street fight, it's pretty much saying not only can she talk smack, but she can back it up. Now, with that being said, for anybody that saw that match, y'all saw my girl Mia came out. You might as well say she was thugged out in her Timbs and her shorts and her shirt. I'm gonna say I love that look, and you already know I love the hair. To me, when I think of beauty, she's one of the few people that I see as being very beautiful, very beautiful. But she was stuck in that outfit, and I'm. With that being said, I feel like that street fight. I'm about brutality. I'm not Rhea, but I'm about brutality. I love, like I said in the first episode, I love tables, ladders, chairs, kendo sticks. People jumping from ropes, from cages. What I did not like, and Steven's already mentioned it, is the waste of food. It broke my heart when they did it at Money in the Bank. It broke my heart when they did it again. I'm going to even go on record. I come from a black family. And when you waste food like that, yes, when you waste food like that, you are going to be shamed in my family. Shame. But with that being said, I love the match. I love the back and forth. I love, what got me is, Candice using the fire extinguisher. I don't remember what match I saw it from, but I felt like that was a smart move if, Mia kept coming. And Mia literally kept coming with the blows and the punches and the kicks. And obviously, the foot in the face, smell that defeat. Literally, play on words. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just think of Jericho. The fact they went back and forth. They went hard. There was, back and forth interaction. You could see, people in the back were trying to stay out of the way, but it was kind of hard when you're fighting around the arena. Now I'm thinking, what is Triple H thinking? I just got this. I just got my place all fixed up, and they're coming back to mess it up again. So to me, I feel like that would have been a humor moment if you would have kind of spotted him on the side. But again, getting back to that, I feel like these two women did their thing. I feel like I don't feel like the proper person went over. Like I said in the last episode that I did for the Great American Bash NXT, I feel like Candice, she needs a little more work. I feel like she is a little bit slower, a little bit more hesitant on a lot of stuff, unlike all the other women, including Mia. So, and no, I feel like Mia's still going to be here doing something like maybe backstage segments. I honestly don't want to see her, and I know people would say, why? You have a lot of people who have gone up to from NXT to the main roster, and they're not doing anything with them. Bianca, I'm just saying. So with that being said, let me go ahead and have my next question before I get even more emotional, and then this whole thing just goes kaput.
So we move from, we mentioned Candice LeRae, so of course it means we got to talk about hubby. We got to talk about Johnny Gargano. Getting himself kind of what would be more or less, I guess, a grudge match against a nice up-and-comer in Isaiah Swerve Scott. Swerve putting on a great show in the Cruiserweight tournament. Now they're getting ready to push him as a main eventer. No surprise Gargano goes over, but Swerve certainly putting on a show. Give us a brief run-through of, this one. Again, keep it, relatively short. But at the same time, where do you think Swerve's future looks in terms of his place in NXT?
I feel like, honestly, I feel like he has a bright future. I feel like Triple H is going to do the right thing with him. I feel like, how can I put it? If you're willing to work, and I've seen him work a lot of matches, one that sticks out in my mind was against Angel Garza, where I thought he was very well off. He was very technical. He put in the work. He put in the effort. And I enjoyed watching him and Johnny fight, for that match. Again, I feel like this kid has a bright future. I feel like, hey, as long as Triple H and Shawn Michael and Regal work with him, I could see him being around for a while.
We had a six-man tag that was set up with Drake Maverick and Breezango teaming up to take on the Legado de Fantasma, which of course is Cruiserweight Champion Escobar Santos, along with I think I got it backwards, Santos Escobar.
It doesn't matter.
And his Legion, continuing the storyline of Drake and Fantasma. Drake always seems to somehow be on the wrong end as Fantasma gets the better of him again. Does this story have a happy ending for Drake Maverick?
I feel like Drake Maverick has been very, very lucky. For anybody that actually witnessed, he was supposed to be one of the people that were let go. He did an emotional video that honestly, I can say broke my heart. He honestly reminds me of Heath Slater, but I feel like he got his second chance to come back, and he got a second chance to do what he's supposed to do. And I think right now, with the stories they have him in, I feel like at some point he will be on the right side of that double-edged sword. But I mean, how can you not? I like who he got paired with, Breezango. Who better than to be paired with than them two right there? So honestly, I feel like Rockstar Spud is a rock star, and I feel like he will at some point be on the right side of that double-edged sword. Now, was he for the last couple of weeks? No, he wasn't. But look at who he's going up against. We've seen this storyline before with General Granddaddy, as we like to call him, and like AOP. We've seen it with Jinder Mahal and his Bollywood boys. And we are seeing it technically with Angel Garza, Zelina Vega, and Andrade. So, I'm just saying. But with that being said, which is one of my favorite catch lines in case anybody has not noticed that.
Oh, it's been noticed.
Yeah. So let's kind of move on to the next question.
We were gonna, give a very quick thought because we definitely want to make sure the majority of your time is able to go to the exciting main event that we had. But very briefly, your thoughts on the re-debut of Mercedes Martinez.
Oh my gosh. So if y'all watch the Mae Young Classic, and I know my voice kind of went up like 7 octaves, but I get excited about women's matches. In case y'all hadn't noticed, or in case y'all don't watch, I love the women matches. It doesn't matter if it's SmackDown, it doesn't matter if it's Raw, it doesn't matter if it's NXT. She was one of the people I was pulling for. I pulled for Mia, I pulled for Kyrie, I pulled for her. There were several others, but let's just go ahead and mention those 3. I feel like she has a strong presence about her. She's tough. She's, not only is she mentally tough, she's physically tough. She's, bigger than the rest of the ladies. But I feel like I want to see what they do with her this go round in her re-debut. I loved her. I'm not going to sit here and say any differently. I loved her, and I want to see what happens, where they're going to send it, how they're going to do, and where they're going to go with her. So here is to Mercedes. I'm wishing you all the best. I love you. Yeah.
And then we have about 5 minutes left in your period here for this one. Of course, got to get to the main event here, which was the winner-take-all champion versus champion match. Adam Cole and Keith Lee putting on an exciting 25-minute match, ultimately with Keith Lee going over, Adam Cole ending his 403-day run as champion. Keith Lee now the first double champion in NXT history, holding both the NXT title and the North American title at the same time. Open-ended question. You can talk about both of them, but give your thoughts on the match. Did the right person win the title? And ultimately, where do both of them go from here?
Okay, Adam Cole, I feel like Adam Cole, he came in, and for anybody that knows me, knows I thought he was cute when he came in. I said, oh, look at all that hair and all that pretty face and those blue eyes. I want to see what he can do. Does he have the game to back up, his looks? And I'm going to go on record say I didn't believe that the New Day did either, and I didn't believe Adam Cole did either, but I'm having to kind of pull my foot out of my mouth and saying Adam Cole has done everything that a champion should, from excellent promos, excellent video packages, jumping across 3 brands, NXT, SmackDown, and Raw, at a moment's notice with Triple H calling and saying, I need you to do this, no ifs, ands, or buts. I feel like he's honestly has been one of the best people to hold the title, minus Seth, who was the first one, who was the inaugural champ. I also feel like for Keith Lee, he has been across each brand, SmackDown, Raw, NXT. I love him. I think he's great. I could not see it going any other way. These two put on a hell of a match. But with that being said, the moment I heard the number of days that, Adam Cole has held that belt, I said in my mind, he's losing that title. But if you want to know, I picked Keith Lee. I love Keith Lee. I think he's a great champion. I think to me, he looks like a locker room leader. So I feel, and if you hadn't seen it, go back, watch it, because I'm about to spoil it. Keith Lee came out victorious. And again, he came out victorious. He came out with, I'm going to go for what it is. He was limitless in his efforts to win both titles. So yes, I feel like the right person won. Sorry for Adam Cole, but I feel like he will be fine on either brand that they put him on, Raw or SmackDown. I honestly feel like SmackDown needs more help, so I think y'all should send him over there. And when it comes to Keith Lee, he's got a target on his back with him being a double champion. Ask Becky, ask Seth, ask Bayley. She's a double champion. With you having 2 belts, you're always going to have a target on your back. And I don't see how he's not defending those titles every single week, if not more, being a double champ. So, yeah, I feel the right person won. I was excited. I can't say that for a lot of other people. I think some people wanted to see Adam Cole retain. Either way, I'm going to go on the note and saying that I feel there's a strong presence with Karrion Kross, and I could see Karrion Kross taking both titles, if not one, and kind of, running away with it. Or he could have one and someone else take the other. But I don't think Keith will be losing those titles anytime soon. I was excited. I was full on. I can tell you again, this time I was in Haley mode. I was like kind of biting my nails, wondering who's going to win, who's going to lose. And if you don't know who Haley is, she's part of the Hug and Boss connection with her best friend Savannah. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this week up. And I'm glad for all the people that joined me. I love you. I appreciate the support. I will go on the record and say I want to get back into the arenas as soon as possible. Let's make it happen. Do what you're supposed to do. Wear the mask. Wear your gloves. Sanitize. Stay in as much as you can. If you're going to wear the mask, I'm giving a shout out to one of my good friends, Kimber Laskid. She is the best person to purchase from. She is on every form of social media. If you can't reach her on there, get her on Etsy. I guarantee you there will be a mask that she has made that you will love. Go buy it. I'm signing off right now because I'm wanting to go eat, and I've been promised McDonald's, so I'm going to hold my husband to that. I love you. I hope to see you all next week, and I'm out. Peace. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye, you guys.